few years ago, I quit my job in aviation logistics and I started working in a grocery store. I was shocked to find out that grocery stores toss out tons of surplus food just because it hasn't sold fast enough or the store ordered too much of it. Ripe avocados, slightly wrinkled peppers, stale bread, straight to the trash. I had never really thought about what happened to unsold food items until I learned that 1 out of every 6 people in the Dayton area live without consistent access to food. Well, how can that be when almost 50% of the land in Ohio is classified by the USDA as prime farmland? How is it possible when almost 40% of the US food supply is thrown away each year? And what if there were a way to turn this loss into gain? I'm here to tell you that we can fix our food waste problem, and we need to. So let us talk about food waste and how we can help our neighbors by using resources that already exist. Food waste refers to food that is wholesome and ready to eat, but does not get consumed because it is discarded, either before or after it is left to spoil. You may already know something about our country's food waste challenges. In 2020 alone, nationwide, 80 billion pounds of food were thrown away. And while national and household level food waste are problems, today I want to focus on community level solutions. Some food waste is inevitable. Perishable food will expire. However, food waste is also fixable. We can improve a broken system that wastes enough food to feed every hungry soul in this country. Food waste is fixable with clear communication, strong community connections, and some creativity. What I witnessed while working at that grocery store wasn't small quantities of food here and there. It was about $50,000 worth of wholesome food every month. And that's just from a single store. This was a real light bulb moment for me. I began to encourage management to find a more acceptable solution for our perfectly edible extra food. I told them all about the Dayton Hunger Stats, how it could be helping our fellow man, how it could feed all of Dayton with food that we can't sell and food that we don't even want anymore. And guess what they said? Go ahead, Jen, you do it. If you want to do something with surplus food, then you can figure it out. So I did. When my managers challenged me to find a place for that surplus food, I happily accepted. The obvious solution was to just donate it. We would donate it all to those 1 in 6 Daytonians. Donate everything, no more food waste, feed everyone in Dayton, solve hunger, bing, bang, boom. Welp, I was wrong. I looked around for organizations that could take our extra food and make it available to folks that need it the most. To solve this problem, the store needed an organization that was willing to coordinate with us and could pick up excess food every day of the week. We needed a group that could transport and store a wide variety of food items and actively find homes or bellies for it. We needed someone to focus on the food. But I looked all over Dayton and didn't see anything that operated in a way to help us solve the moral conundrum of wasting good, healthy, wholesome, nutritious food. So then, in 2019, I started a food rescuing nonprofit that could provide all those services. Our goal is keeping wholesome food from going to waste, and we achieved this by taking our collected surplus fruit and vegetables directly to neighborhoods in Dayton that lack access to healthy options, like no grocery store. And we give it away for free. Thus, Dayton's only free produce stand was born. Because fresh produce is the least accessible to people dealing with food insecurity and the most challenging type of food to redistribute due to its short shelf life, my priority became produce rescue. Once we established ourselves as food rescuers, we were contacted by various restaurants, businesses, and even prolific home gardeners around town to find homes for their surplus food. Farmers began reaching out to donate their beautiful extra veggies, as well as area nonprofits and food pantries with all types of excess foods, including non-perishables and bakery items. Our free produce stand model is ideal for small quantities of lots of different food items. Finding a home for a large quantity of one item isn't that straightforward, though. We often receive larger and unique donations that pose their own challenges, like hundreds of pounds of eggplant, each with a sunspot. We recently received a 1-ton donation of freshly harvested zucchini from one of our FarmShare partners. This load of zucchini was headed to a grocery store about 3 hours north of Dayton, but was turned away at the last minute because each individual zucchini didn't have a barcode sticker on it. To me, this seemed like a very easy workaround, maybe just like handwrite a sign that says 2 for $1. But for whatever reason, that couldn't work. All this wasted time and resources, lost revenue, and now a ton of zucchini was homeless too. This is where my logistic brain comes in handy because these are the problems I like to solve. Here's what that looks like. First, who needs a literal ton of zucchini? Who is willing to take this food and how soon? Who can store, process, cook, and serve or distribute these zucchinis to others? And that's not even to mention the many practical considerations that help us answer those questions like storage space, temperature control, variable shelf lives, vehicles and fuel for transportation, and of course, the people who make all those steps happen. Oftentimes, larger grocery stores will claim liability concerns as a reason for not giving away their excess food. They think they will be sued if someone becomes sick eating donated food, past date or not, that came from their store. Fortunately, this is a misconception, and the Bill Emerson Good Samaritan Act, passed by Congress in 1996, actually encourages food donation by protecting any person or business that donates food in good faith for ultimate distribution to individuals in need. To combat food waste on a community level, we must be willing to do the right thing. The work my organization does allows us to be in neighborhoods talking to folks about their need and desire for access to healthy foods. We know the nutritional value fresh produce provides. Healthier food options decrease multi-generational long-term health problems and lead to healthier communities. Let's flash back to our zucchini emergency. I sent messages to several groups that might be able to work zucchini magic and coordinated times and dates for drop-offs. We delivered some of that zucchini to a group that is teaching folks how to garden in an urban setting, some to an organization that cooks and prepares meals, and some to a church pantry that serves about 50 guests per week. And the rest, we gave it away at the free produce stand. None of this would have been possible if we didn't have the right pieces. If we didn't exist in the first place, if we didn't have relationships with local farms to find out about their surplus crops, if we weren't able to pick up that zucchini that day, and if we didn't have relationships with organizations who offer programs in our community. Logistics are essential to solving food waste on a community level. Since 2019, my organization has rescued over 100 tons of wholesome fruit and veggies from a trashy fate. We have set up over 200 free produce stands within food deserts in the Dayton area. Our network of share partners continues to grow, partners that have surplus food and partners that need that surplus. We work with frontline hunger organizations that can utilize large quantities of food. We collaborate with immigration coalitions, halfway houses, to get excess food into the hands of people that don't otherwise have access to it. Ultimately, we want to eliminate the barriers that make the good, healthy, excess food that already exists in our community so hard to access by our community. Similar surpluses and needs exist in communities all across the country. Systemic problems require systemic solutions and sustainable resources, including time and flexibility. Every city in the US could benefit from a central logistics hub that acknowledges the mutual benefit and shared urgency of redistributing surplus foods to areas of need. Abundance is best when shared, and there are things we all can do to share that abundance. Do some research and find out if a food rescue group exists in your community. And if there isn't one, you can start one. Start conversations and ask questions like, where does your unsold food go? We can build food recovery networks within every city, and we can put a dent in this national food waste crisis. And at the same time, the hunger crisis. Wasting less means using more of what's already here. More recovered food means a better use of time and resources, happier and healthier communities, and possibly food for all. One of the first things we can do to solve a problem is to talk about it. So let us talk.